Hello, hello, welcome. Welcome in. I'm Adara. I am a YA paranormal romance and sci-fi author, as well as, at the moment, I'm writing new adult as well. But that is for a different day. Right now, I am off the clock and ready for some gaming. I have played Pokemon since it came out when I was, 7 in the Western world? With Pokemon Red, which I think I got for, I think it was Christmas one year. And I played the mainline games ever since. I would, however, admit that I am terrible with Nuzlocks. I do not have patience. I've tried and tried and tried. I've said, okay, after so many failed attempts, I am going to give it my best. When you join me, I am playing Pokemon FireRed. I am partway through a second Nuzlocke attempt since the games were re-released for the Switch. And we will see how this goes. Am I confident? Good question. I am trying to be the most boring player and grind, which is against my nature. We'll see if I can manage that. Here we are. First, I think I should get you up to scratch with everything that's been happening. This would help. There we go. One thing I adore about these games is the tiny little things. So, I could not fit the entire word Nuzlocke into my name. It ran out of characters. Otherwise, it would normally have an E on the end. Previously, on your quest, I took down the Vermilion City gym leader, departed the gym, departed the underground path, and left the daycare. Now, is it cheating to use the daycare? That is the question. I don't think it is. And the reason I was using it, here we go, we've arrived at Cerulean City. The reason I don't think it is because I ended up with a Pokemon that I forgot to nickname. So I told myself I'm not allowed to use that Pokemon until I get to the name rater and we can change it. Then it's fair game. But I did give it to the daycare. So, yeah. Once upon a time, what was a Metapod is now a Butterfree. To show how bad I am at Nuzlocks, I am going to show you who has already been sacrificed in this playthrough. So first of all, this is the Butterfree, which will not be used at all until we get to the name rater. We have a plethora of people which most of them were taken down by Misty, including a level 21 Pikachu, level 20 Pidgeotto, level 21 Fearow, level 20 Geodude, level 13 Mankey, level 10 Meowth, level 17 Ekans, and level 25 Gloom. I am on my way to Rock Tunnel. I will show you who I currently have in my party. It is, yeah, the last one standing. We have a Voltorb, which I caught just before going into Mount Moon. I have a Gyarados and a Charmeleon. So level 33, level 33. I would like in this session to be training the Electrode, well, the Voltorb, hopefully into an Electrode, we'll see, up to level 33 before going into that tunnel. Is it overkill? At this point, maybe, but by the time I get out of it, it won't be. Not to mention, it is very useful for Flash. And I am hoping if something bad really happens, if I lose some Pokemon when I'm in there, then this can be kind of like a bit of a backup at the other end, along with Butterfree. So I have a plan B. So, with that being said, it's back to the grind. I would like to thank Kyoki Studios for their customizable model. This is one of theirs. It is gorgeous. Please tell me if the sound is okay, if the levels are okay for you. That would be helpful. And let's grind this Voltorb. Oop. This is kind of the patch of grass I've been using, just going between this and the Vermilion City. Vermilion? Yeah, put my teeth back in. And the Cerulean City gym. Voltorb can make pretty decent improvements here. It just learned Spark. I taught it Shockwave with the TM. Good if someone lowers accuracy. Please excuse me if I cough. Just like that. So, when I got the Voltorb, it was, yeah, level 16. So it's already up 5 levels. It's incredible the amount of people I've seen say, why pay for this for Switch? It's because you can carry it around in your hands. Like, well, you can get a ROM on a mobile. It's like, you want to play kind of that small with a system that's going to majorly overheat. That's up to you. They're like, but you can't speed it up. I'm just like, if you ever thought that you don't need to, just kind of chill. Especially for Nuzlocks. I should know. Slow and steady. The problem is, one really risky move, and it's kind of all over and it becomes a bloodbath. Level 17. I'm pretty certain, with the sheer amount of Pokemon I've trained and lost to this point, that I've probably taken down the majority of the Rattata and Pidgey populations, including a fair amount of Spearows in there. I'll give it credit. The one thing I am looking forward though to is Electrode speed. I think that'll be very helpful. The most tedious thing so far to train has been the Magikarp into a Gyarados. This training here with the Voltorb is going twice as fast. I spent days. I'm pretty certain if I keep up this level of grinding at some point, we may get a shiny. I thought I was going to get a shiny with the sheer amount of training I was having to do for the Magikarp, to be honest. It'll be fascinating, though, to see how far I get this time. I think this is good because it's forcing me to do it vanilla. Whenever I have tried ROMs for this game, and I've tried things like rare candy glitches, you kind of start to rely on those a lot. And even with them, I somehow manage to fail because I get complacent. I have to say, though, facing Misty this time was a bloodbath. This is attempt 2. Attempt number 1, I ended up with an Ivysaur and a Gloom. And that was all I had to battle the SSN. And then what comes along on the SSN was the rival who had a Kadabra, who knew Confusion. Ivysaur and Gloom are both part poison. It did not go well. Oh man, no. It did not go well at all. This time, though, the most hard thing has been Misty. And I know that the speed of her Starmie can end a lot of runs. Every time a Spearow comes on the screen, I always wonder, is this going to be a shiny? I am playing with the Dupe's Claws, which means that if I get a Pokemon which I've already had, then I can't catch it. I have to re-roll. I'm also playing with the shiny claws because who doesn't? If I have a shiny Pokemon, even if I've caught a Pokemon on that route, I can, you know, I will be catching it. Let's see. Oop. Grinding. I expect that half the people who were streaming FireRed and Leaf Green are now streaming Pokopia. Ooh, that's not good. There we go. Something guaranteed. Yes. Level 22. That will do. And off to heal. I don't have a Nintendo Switch 2. And I don't plan on buying one for the foreseeable future. It's going to take more than, what, Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong, and Pokopia to get me there. What's putting me off is Ditto's face. I normally like, you know, I like Animal Crossing. I like Pokemon. I cannot look at the face of a Ditto. It just freaks me out. I don't know if I'm the only one. From one episode of an anime spawned an entire meme which they have now made into an actual thing. But I was always led to believe that the whole Ditto face thing was only for that particular Ditto, for that particular trainer. So are we meant to be like, that particular trainer from the anime? Which the Ditto's now trying to kind of copy, or? I don't think it's that deep, to be honest, but yeah, I cannot look at the main character with Ditto face. Which is what's putting me off playing and committing. There's just something really weird about it. Are we going to have to add the entire population of Ekans being wiped out to this? We may very well. It's one thing to say, oh, but you're so over-leveled, you know, for when you go to Lavender and Celadon. Be that as it may, by the time you get to Fuchsia, you may very well be under-leveled. So better to over-level now. The grind set is real. There we go. It's a shame. I liked my Ekans. It got knocked out when I was trying to train it. Same with the Meowth. I would have loved to have had an Ekans and a Meowth. Surprisingly, I really only started having... Well, Persian's pretty good. Better than you'd think for a playthrough like this. But I really, really enjoyed playing with both Ekans and Persian in Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. I was not expecting that. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought. Spearow. I also had a very, very, very high hopes that my Fearow would be good against Misty. Especially for Starmie because it knew a dark move. No. Starmie outsped. So it never got a chance to land. I'm forever going to see Rattata and think, top 2%. Something for a little bit of a change. There we go. I don't know if I should say this out loud, but I kind of feel like we're doing well in the not being crit department. Touch wood. I don't know if saying that out loud is going to curse this run. What's annoying is, yeah, the amount of times I've only been down to 2 Pokemon left. Charmeleon has been carrying this. But now kind of Gyarados has 2, but Gyarados takes like double the experience points at this point in time to grow a level than Charmeleon does. I would love to know... Oh, there's the crit. I would seriously love to know what IVs and EVs I'm potentially, like, missing from these Pokemon that I'm battling. Yes. Get the Paralyze off. Oh. Well, that's unhelpful. Okay, I think we've, exhausted this particular round. Back to the centre. Is this bike actually any faster? If you account for the time I spend running into walls with it and having to recover, would I have just got there easier and quicker with running? Okay. Oh, 1 second. There we go. The hay fever. 'Tis that time of year. I'm trying to think, did I catch... I didn't catch anything on Route 9. And the reason being was Dupe's Claws. That I've already got everything here. It's coming. So the only way I'd get to something else is if the shiny claws would overrule that. I don't do really randomizers. That's not my cup of tea. I don't do hardcore kind of Kaiser level stuff. I don't do no item runs. Still, the vanilla run I have yet to finish in Nuzlocke. And I will be upfront about whatever number I'm up to. That's it. Take down the Spearow population. Almost at 23. It's a shame all we have is the old rod. Part of me thinks that fishing kind of for like further on down the route might have been good. Looking at the levels, I don't think training Voltorb against like Zubats would be worth it yet. In Rock Tunnel, I don't think the level increase would be worth it. I don't think it would be faster than this because Pokemon are appearing here faster. I'm knocking them out faster. Versus, you know, having to wait for a Zubat to pop up versus other Pokemon. With the amount of ground types that it just can't attack, this is probably the best place for it. Unless I decided to leave it at the wayside. Put it in a box in case something happens to my first two, and then I have a plan B. But I wouldn't feel good about that because it's coming into the tunnel with me. I would want it to have some form of defense, even if I'm only using it for flash. I'd originally considered using the Butterfree with flash, but it just didn't seem fair. Because it's not nicknamed, and that's not in the spirit of things. Let's see, is my impatience going to get the better of me? Yeah, okay. So, you can see Charmeleon 2,600 points to the next level. A whopping 30% more for Gyarados. Avoid sound-based moves. Sound-based moves. I know Screech is a sound-based move in this generation. Are there any others? Sonic Boom? Would... But that's kind of, like, guaranteed. Would... Sonic Boom and Screech. So it's essentially... Ah. Would Sing count? That might. I'm trying to wonder. Whismer and Exploud, that kind of Loudred, that line. Do they have any other? They probably have other sound-based moves that I'm not thinking about. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Would Roar be a sound-based move? I wonder if someone tried to use Roar on a Voltorb, how much of a sound-based move would that be classed as? It technically is sound-based. Same with Growl. Would they have any effect? The first time I've kind of stopped to think about it. Boom. Okay. You're kidding. Seriously? Seriously? Okay. And on we go. I'd better run across some sort of a shiny in this run. Seriously, the amount of Pokemon I'm getting through is just obscene. Have a drink? There we go. Good old H2O. Water. Spearow. I wonder if I just named this stream the Sonic Grind. If what that would kind of come across to people as. If it like wasn't tagged as FireRed and Leaf Green. What would people think this was about? The Sonic Grind. Vocal lessons? Or literally like Sonic the Hedgehog? Spark. Little change of pace. There we go. Just like that. Nice. $17. I wonder, can we take it out in one hit? Nope, not yet. We'll know we're getting close when we can take out Rattata at level 17 in one move. Then we'll know we're close to being able to enter the tunnel. I wonder if I have enough Pokemon for that item finder yet. The problem is, well, I suppose if you're in a no dupes Nuzlocke, you do get the chance to catch a lot of different Pokemon. But even if you do, then can you evolve enough of them? Can they survive long enough to be evolved to then get some of the kind of item, well, Pokedex-based items. I do not like that quick attack. I think I would rather have Voltorb have something like Pikachu with static to paralyze the opponent than I would this kind of sonic thing. Can we push for one extra? I think we can. Spark. There we go. I'm not using any particular naming theme. Just kind of whatever comes to me at the time. So, for example, Magikarp. Fish have fins. Finny. Voltorb, Electrode, I'm thinking, okay, kind of down that line. What? And then I went for the most uninspired kind of fire Pokemon name, which is Blaze, which used to be the name of a dog I had. Now I have 2 cats. And, yeah, I've actually named so far 2 of the Pokemon I've caught in this run after pets. So, Pokemon number 1 was the Pidgey, which then turned into Pidgeotto, which I named Karibo. And my second pet, so I have 2 black cats. The second one is called Thelonious, and I named him Meow Thelonious. Level 24, not bad. But we can do better. At this point, I'm wondering what level Voltorb evolves. Part of me wants to say 30. And part of me thinks it's probably more awkward than that. But for some reason, 30 is ringing a bell. Not sure. I always originally preferred Magnemite and Magneton. But it's impressive to see what changes these can make. I think everyone kind of fell in love with Electrode in Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee with it rolling around everywhere. I think I'm gonna look it up. FireRed Electrode. What level does Voltorb evolve? I don't believe it was a Thunderstone. At all. Yeah, level 30, I thought so. Oh, apart from Hisuian Electrode, which evolves from Hisuian Voltorb using a Leaf Stone. Because of course. Why would it not be awkward? Saying that, I honestly really enjoyed Legends Arceus. I enjoyed the fact that you could get, like, the majority of Pokemon, like, in that game itself. Not as many trade evolutions. The fact that they had, like, a virtual link cable in there was cool. Let's go. Boop. Okay. Hang on. Why if, with the sheer amount of running around I'm doing, why haven't I put Butterfree back into the daycare? Is there any rule to say that I can't? You know what? I think while this is going on, because of the sheer amount of steps I'm taking, I should. I don't expect it to grow that much, but eh. To the box of the living. Right. Seriously, the amount of steps I'm taking. The daycare in this particular game runs by your Mon gains 1 XP for every step that you take in game. I'm not used to this Pro Controller. There we go. Just as long as I remember to get him out before going into Rock Tunnel. There. You go there. Thank you. The reason it's a Butterfree, and you can't really catch Butterfrees, is I originally had it as a Metapod. And I didn't realise I hadn't nicknamed it until it had already evolved. And it's like, hey, your Butterfree evolved. Well, your Metapod evolved into Butterfree. I'm just like, where's the nickname? Where's the nickname? And there was no nickname. And then I panicked. I'm like, I'm not allowed to use this. So I ended up putting like a level 10 Butterfree into the daycare. And it came out and it was like level 25. Shockwave. We'll see if we can take it out in 1. Is this improving? Nope, not yet. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I'm glad that was a miss. Very glad. Let's see. Okay. We'll see what happens. There we go. Will this take it out in 1? It did. Okay, right, we are getting somewhere. Now, can we do that consistently? Let's see. Okay, this is a lot more difficult. Shockwave. A crit followed by a quick attack, that's mean. That is very mean. I am not down for that. Nope. Then again, I think Watts can take it. It's been really wholesome to see people playing like FireRed and Leaf Green on TVs and monitors, and there seemed to be a bit of a sense of peace for the few days that it was out. And then the internet kind of split down in the middle when Pokopia came out, between the haves and have-nots of Switch 2s. Although I've got to say, it is impressive that Winds and Waves hasn't received that much criticism. And again, kind of neither's FireRed and Leaf Green. I kind of guessed how much they would cost. And I'm much happier to just wait. No, I don't ghostwrite, unfortunately. I just kind of write for me and mainly for fun. I do publish, but yeah. I've wrote fan fictions under, like, other pen names too, which I am never going to let anyone know the usernames of. I know that a fair few people do ghostwrite, but I kind of don't have time for that on top of my original works. That's interesting. I've, my latest book that I'm drafting at the moment is a paranormal romantic comedy, and it's my first new adult. Let's see how quickly I can get this Voltorb to evolve. I'm really kind of glad that indie publishing exists, because it has brought a lot of people together who do write kind of paranormal. Although I've got to say, kind of my first book, I don't think even indie kind of knows what to do with it, because it's paranormal, romance, and sci-fi. Because why not have vampires and werewolves in space? Well, yeah, why not? But people need their downtime, which is why I'm here. For anyone who is more interested in my work, you can join me on a Monday on YouTube or over at Adara Unwinds. Adara Unwinds, that's this channel. Heath back in. Over at Adara Writes, where I host live writing sprints. I'm single-handedly destroying the entire Ekans population at the moment. I wonder how many people feel like that in a Nuzlocke. I think aiming for just laughs is a pretty decent way to go. I tried to write something kind of serious once, and I just couldn't do it. I'm just like, no. I want my kind of fiction in my writing to be an escape for me as well. The world has a lot of serious books. They can have, you know, it's worth having lighter books. People need comedy. The second novel that I ever wrote was pretty dark. I'm still trying to get through revisions. It took me over 2 years to draft. And I needed a palate cleanser, which is where the paranormal romantic comedy came from. And now that I'm kind of drafting that, it's really helping me with a lift, kind of spillover of some of the comedy, for a much needed lift for the book I'm revising at the same time. I'm trying to remind myself that intimidate is essentially doing nothing. In this gen, physical and special weren't split, so Spark, which I think eventually ended up being physical, is still special, so the intimidate did nothing for that. Trying to put myself back into that mindset is quite something. There we go. 25. We get it to 30, we've got ourselves an Electrode. I don't think there's anywhere else I could be training this for better experience. Battling fellow Voltorbs would just be really annoying, because my highest moves are kind of electric. If you go into Rock Tunnel, then you're kind of mainly holding out for Matrops and Zubats. But for the time it takes you to kind of run away from Geodudes and the very rare Onyx or Cubone, it's not worth it. Whereas this, we can just be like steamrolling things. I am genuinely glad that publishing is becoming more accessible. I think the Harry Potter phenomenon, which then spawned like the really big fanfiction push, has just opened up a new world of writers. And I'm glad that they have an outlet and a way to publish which isn't like as gate-kept anymore. Interesting. Never read any fanfics. I spend a lot of time reading fanfics. But, yeah. I also read just about anything, so... I also enjoy a good light novel. They've been quite a bit of fun. I'm kind of more of a person who came from anime-esque. Although when I was in my teens, I went through a phase where I would never read anything if it didn't have its own world map. I kind of thought it was pointless to read anything that was just based in our world because our world already exists. There was no point. That kind of started to get swept away when I started to read some, like, historical fantasy. And then eventually just historical. And it's kind of just gone from there. I always had to have some level of the fantastical. Now I don't have to so much, but I'd say I've grown. I mean, I read Pride and Prejudice and Zombies before Pride and Prejudice. I'm that sort of a person. And I can appreciate. Discworld, for all you would think I like Terry Pratchett, I don't like his writing style. I can appreciate what he's trying to do, and I know a lot of people like him. It's just not for me. I know members of my family that absolutely adore anything that Terry Pratchett put out, but I just can't. I can only think it's the writing style. I can't think of anything else. Everything on paper tells me I should like the Discworld series. I mean, I liked watching, like, Going Postal and, well, I've heard of Going Postal and things. I liked watching, I can't remember what it was. The one where, you know, the TV adaptions of things. I've seen those. They're okay, but I wouldn't go out of my way to interact with them. Let's see. There was one of them, though, that I did see a local community group put on. What was it? The one with 3 witches and someone called Granny Weatherwax? I saw that at a community theatre, and that was pretty fun. I can appreciate that. I think they work better as plays more than books, potentially. Then, of course, you had the runaway hit of Good Omens. Good Omens? I liked watching that. Yeah. They got away with a lot of stuff in that. I think the second season got a bit away with them, though. Got away from them. I know some people who love it, some people who are like, meh. I think it's a bit like Marmite. Maybe not as strong as Marmite, but ah well. Speaking of, though, the paranormal romantic comedy is a case of angels, demons, and mistaken identities. So that's going to be fun. It's kind of episodic in itself, what I'm writing at the moment. And that's quite odd for me. Normally my worlds are very heavily plotted. I suppose this does have a plot. Down to like, well, it does down to like chapter level, I suppose. But how the chapters kind of fulfill whatever I've put as comedically as possible is down to them. On a chapter by chapter basis. Still no shiny. I must have gotten through at least 8,000 Pokemon by now. With the amount of Pokemon I've trained and have fainted in this Nuzlocke so far, it's a miracle I haven't gotten any shiny yet. I'd like to throw this question out there. What was your first shiny? If you're watching, let me know. If you're a time traveller and watching the VOD, also let me know. I think for a lot of people, it's with the caveat of, do you mean the shiny red Gyarados that everyone has access to in Silver, Gold and Crystal, or anything else? I think for a lot of people over a certain age that will have been their first shiny. Beyond that, my first shiny was a Litwick. And it's held a special place in my heart ever since. Closing in on level 30. At least this is faster than the Magikarp and Switch training. I'll give it that. Please remember to stay hydrated, have a stretch, whatever you need to do. Right. The other thing I do, apart from writing, is I'm also a sensitivity reader for anyone with kind of chronic illnesses, which are POTS, pain conditions, fatigue conditions, EDS, so connective tissue issues, autism. And that's where authors kind of reach out to me and say, hey, have I got this portrayal correct? Is it accurate? Is there anything else in terms of medically I need to know about the character? How does it fit with the plot? And they kind of give me a draft of what they've got, and I go through and I give them a critique based on whatever characters they have with those conditions. I only do that every now and again though. It doesn't come up that often, which is good because I like to try to balance a lot of, well, my 3 projects, to be honest. I have one book in the moment that I'm attempting to record myself to put on YouTube as a bit of an audiobook. The sequel to that one is currently in revisions, and then I also have a first draft of something else on the go. I've been really enjoying the harmony that this game has been bringing to the Pokemon community. Right, can we take it in one? Yes. I'm going to take the time now, go heal back up, and then we'll be back. There we go. Cool. Oh god, a living dex. I've just noticed. That's impressive. Good luck to you for a living dex. I tried just to complete the Pokédex once, and then I kept kind of not going to the events where they were giving out codes and things. Then, for some reason, I missed some of the timed events for legendaries in Scarlet and Violet. I was just like, okay, so you're telling me chances are that's now not going to come out for another year, if at all. Lovely. And I just kind of fell off after that. I'm very happy to be replaying the older games. Let's say... done in one? One hit KO? Yes. That's got me thinking. Sonic Boom, what is that up to? Summary. It always inflicts 20. I expect that's going to need to be changed the further on we go. Let's see, what does that look like on a level 15 Ekans? Imagine this is a 2-hit KO, but I'm not sure. Yeah, likely to. At this point, the rest of the moves are way more effective. This is such a twist in the brain of trying to think, okay, what's special attacking? What's physical in terms of types? Because I'm automatically trying to think from the other Pokemon's perspective of, okay, what's their physical defense like? What's their special defense like? I'm like, well, does it really matter now if there's no physical special move type split? I'm always going to remember, though, the first time I ever tried running a Beedrill as a main, and I discovered, what was it, Twin Needle, being bug type, was so good against Sabrina. So good. That honestly took me by surprise, because it's like, no one ever uses the original bug types. Sometimes you might get someone sentimental who uses a Butterfree. I'm like, anyone outside of maybe A-Drive? Now there's a name I haven't heard in a while. But bug types on the map. I don't think I've really talked about him since, or thought about him since the kind of Sun and Moon days. I think that was before he started doing the stuff for Electrodes. I still don't know much about that. Yep. Welcome. The aim of this session is to evolve Voltorb into an Electrode. This is my second attempt at a Nuzlocke since the games were re-released. This is yes, we are going to take out every single Spearow, Ekans from the population. Do I dare put self-destruct on this thing? That's the question, in case I accidentally hit it in Nuzlocke. Or do I say, hey, if I'm going to end this run, I'm going to go out with a bang? At least it has its uses for Flash at the moment. Try to catch a Moltres without Ultra Balls. Good luck. I wish you well. Are you trying to use paralysis or sleep? Learn it, and if in danger, kill it. Yes. That is the way. So far, this run was almost killed by Misty. I have what I'm calling the box of death going on. Mainly from Misty. It's like a graveyard. Paralysis. Yeah. Give it a go. I think they actually fixed that. Since the originals. Originally that didn't really work. It was meant to. But I can't remember it ever actually working. 4 Ultra Balls. I wish you luck, and I hope you kind of have saved. You've used them all. Yeah, this is I learned very on from playing the original Red. Always save the game before before any of those encounters. I fell in love with having an Ekans on my team in FireRed and Leaf Green. Unfortunately, my Ekans that I caught for this Nuzlocke is already gone. Oh, there we go. This is the moment. This is the moment. Do we do it? Do we do it? Yes. Okay. Sonic Boom, you only do 20. Flash, I can't overwrite you anyway. You're an HM. These two are too good to get rid of. Gotta get rid of Sonic Boom. Okay. The danger of the misclick is real. What have I done? The danger of the misclick is real. There it is, in all of its glory. Well, if we're doing this, I vote we train it to as high a level as possible, with the goal of replacing this with Explosion. We go big. If we're gonna go home, we're gonna go big. Much better than my first attempt. Just gonna quickly heal up. My first attempt, I had an Ivysaur and Gloom. That was my entire party by the time I got to the SSN, where they were both taken down by Kadabra and Confusion from the rival. To show you how bad I am at these Nuzlocks, this is the box of death, where Misty went on a rampage. She even took out a level 1 Pikachu, level 20 Pidgeotto, level 21 Fearow, level 20 Geodude were all lost to Misty in one go. Then after that, I tried to panic train a Mankey. It died in training. Meowth. It died in training. I was really sad for Salda Ekans. It died in training. And Gloom, which is level 25, which is a big, big miss. Yeah, I am not good at Nuzlocks. I think it's because I have no patience. So in a way, this is, playing this on Switch is quite cathartic because you can't speed it up and there are no rare candies. Like, rare candy glitches. Well, I don't want to do the Nugget Bridge one. I'm going to try and play this as fair as possible. Yeah. This is attempt number 2, and I'm not taking... Well, I say I'm not taking any chances. Clearly, I took a lot of them already. But I've tried to save the run. I was down to 2. But, thankfully, we have the Voltorb. We have a Gyarados, which was an arm and a pain in the arm and a leg to train, and a Charmeleon. I wish you luck with your legendary encounters. I expect Voltorb and Electrode eventually is going to be the GOAT. That speed is going to be insane. Which makes me miss the original Red and Blue, where it was directly linked to crit rates. Could be worse. Could be worse. We got it at level 16. It's level 27. I want it to at least be 30 before I enter Rock Tunnel. Because at that point training is selective because of the ground types. So many people at this point would just say, but you're over leveled at this point. I'm like, yeah, but by the time you kind of get through there and out the other end, no it won't. By the time you actually get to like Celadon and then even down to Fuchsia, it's like, no. At this point, I'm just hoping that they're all level 17s that's coming out. Like, 14 for that XP, you are wasting my time. 29 Pokeballs. Good luck. Good luck. I salute you. You can do it. I hope. You don't need luck, you need a miracle. Oh. I am praying for you for that miracle. Then again, to me, these games have always been so random that you never know. You could, but is it worth it? Where would the challenge be? The question is, did you save the game before going into the encounter? If not, things might get a bit dire. I don't like the fact that I still can't take out an Ekans in one hit. Surely an Electrode would be able to do that. Surely. You definitely did. In which case, I'd stick with the Pokeballs and see how it goes. Even if it takes, like, what? 10, 11 runs? Or is there something else that you're waiting for to use it on? Sometime won against the Fire Gym Leader with a Venusaur. I remember the first time I ever beat Roxanne with a Torchic. In, I think it was, yeah, Alpha Sapphire? A shiny. Yeah, the ultimate use of the Pokeball will forever be the shiny Abra. For me, that is the ultimate use case. Other than the roaming legendaries. Roaming legendaries or shiny alpha. Well, Abra. Yeah. There. Put my teeth back in. Firestorm is 5 PB. Correct. Yeah. Firestorm? Fire Blast? Is Firestorm something that I've... My brain is glitching. Am I forgetting a Pokemon move? Ah, right. The game is German. Yeah. Speaking of... Yeah. Speaking of German, the UK... Just slightly off topic. The UK's act for Eurovision is now out on YouTube. And forgive my pronunciation, but it is called 1, 2, 3. I don't quite know what to make of it. I don't think I like it. I can appreciate what it's trying to do, but meh. Please keep me updated. You don't watch that, yeah. Please do keep me updated on this shiny catch. Shiny catch? Legendary catch. Oh my god, the brain fog. The brain fog is creeping in. This is normally where the mistakes are made. Ah! Have I been at this too long? I hope not. I hope not. 15 more. Good luck. With paralysis, fingers crossed for you. Fingers and toes. There we go. There we go. Spearow population, I feel for you at this point. I really do. This is insane. Can't find a Magmar. Are they still in the mansion on Cinnabar? That's why I would have originally thought to catch one. I am nowhere near that. Oh my god, the amount of grinding I'm going to have to do between now and then, the hours this Nuzlocke is going to take. Oh, but I committed to it, so there we go. 5% spawn. I wonder, is it in that new place in the Sevi Islands? I remember there's a place with a lot of fire types there. I think it's the place where you catch Heatran. Would it be in there? Yeah, Sevi Island. Sevi? Yeah, I thought so. I keep forgetting that those exist. Heatran is Gen 4. I'm pretty... Or was it Moltres that moved to the Sevi Islands? It must have been. Yeah. You're right, I'm getting my gens mixed up. Yeah, Moltres moved from Victory Road. Yeah, to the Sevi Islands, you're right. Closest they ever got to the Orange Islands, I think. Unless they're trying to make the Orange Islands from the anime into Wind and Waves. We shall see. What's going to happen first? Me actually finishing a Nuzlocke or getting a shiny? I'd imagine the shiny at this rate because my track record with Nuzlocks is so bad. Try to catch a Doduo. Possibly. I wouldn't say no at this point. I don't think I've ever done a run with a Dodrio before. But would I have the patience to train it? I'm trying to think where I'd go to train that thing. It would take a lot of time. Another pit stop, and on we go. Hello to people joining in chat. Hi. Let's see. See, because without the physical special split, normal is still physical. And it learns Tri-Blast. Ah, yes. It's like the opposite of the Hitmonchan situation with the fire punches. Or the elemental punches. Or is that the same? It was like Fire Punch and, yeah, Thunder Punch and Ice Punch are like all special. Which really sucks. You might be onto something there with that Doduo. Might be onto something. It could be worth the investment. Okay, Ekans is quite bulky. Let's see what level 28 can do. One hit. Yes, we are making improvements. This Electrode is just around the corner. We can get there before Rock Tunnel. Oh, you've gone for the Master Ball. That'll be Cerebi at work. Cerebi? No, Nightbot. Yeah. Sometimes if you just write the same thing or have a bunch of emojis, then sometimes it can do that. Nothing personal. I haven't touched it. Let's see. The big question is, are you going to give it a nickname? And if you have, are you willing to share? Right. Let's see. The sheer amount of Spearows we've been through, and there has still been no shiny. I miss the Fearow. The Fearow was good. I was really hoping to use that, like, later on. Sevi Island quest. You're gonna have to give a bit more explanation on that one. Oh, is it the case that it maybe went into the PC and you haven't unlocked the PC yet? This is unlocking so many memories for me. So much history. Ah, yeah. That's rough. I hated that part. You just reminded me that it's coming up. Although to me it seems quite far-fetched because I'm so far away from it. The idea of actually getting there. It seems like a world away. You need a fire type. Yeah. Let's see. I've got to say that there's not that much of a... Is there a decent range? I never really used, like, Ponyta or Rapidash until I fell in love with it in Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. That game unlocked so many more, like, Pokemon possibilities for me than this one. I know some people say, oh, but it's babyish or whatever, but it did actually genuinely spark some joy for me with some of these Pokemon that I never used to use. Including Chansey. Chansey became my MVP. Let's go. To unlock the boxes, you have to complete the quest. This little mini quest. You have to gather all the stones, give them to Bill, I think it is. And then he can, like, link up the machine back with main Kanto, and then you can use it. You've got to gather all those things that he's after. It was a really bizarre side quest. I don't know why they bothered to lock the PC down like that. That was just annoying. Witch stones. There are certain things that they've asked you to collect from the different islands. You just pressed A. That's the thing most people do. But then they're like, oh, there was something I had to do. It's like, yep. If you just go around completing, like, the mini quests, saving people on each different island, delivering... What's it? There's like a child you have to save on one of the furthest islands, and then it brings you back to a one, like, previous. There's something like that that you've got to do. As well. Just trying to think. I remember a gang, a biker gang on, like, one of the furthest islands out there. I remember that. And then you have to save the child in the forest. That was the closest we ever got to something pretty haunting. Was that Drowsy? Was it Drowsy or... No, it was a Hypno. They actually did something with that. Why didn't I just say no? You can't progress until that's done. I don't think. Which is super annoying. Oh, this is really giving my memory a run for its money. At least Rhyhorn gains XP. Yep. Oh. Sarrybot and Nightbot are having a field day. I don't think I'm ever going to get an EXP share in this run. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to catch enough Pokemon and evolve them enough to get the amount registered in the Pokedex in this Nuzlocke for that. Which I think is going to make the Nuzlocke even harder. I don't even know if I'd be able to get a Lucky Egg or where to get that from. Level 13, come on. I need something more than that for more XP. Okay. Quick stretch. Side to side. I'll drink some water. Electrode, we are almost there. Ah yes, the bikers. Do they all use poison types? There we go. 28. Almost there. Yep. I wonder how many poison types they actually want in this game. Like, in terms of gangs. Oh yeah, because they've got Grimer, don't they? I mean, with the Rocket Grunts with poison types. Them with poison types. I know some of the scientists have Grimer as well. I know that it tends to pop up at Cinnabar Island in the mansion as well. Not to mention Koga. That's a lot of poison types. How much of a hint do you want to say, yeah, go catch a psychic Pokemon, it'll be worth it, go get that Adara, or trade for that Mr. Mime? Encanto trainers are like fitted in classes, and then those classes use different Pokemon. Yeah. Someone told me that the Gamblers had been replaced by a class called Gamers. Is that right, or is it just in certain regions? Rhyhorn is carrying. Yeah. I'm wondering, will I catch a Rhyhorn for my rock tunnel encounter? I hope so. But if not, well, have I? I don't think I've actually caught a Zubat yet. That's quite worrying. I think I once maybe had a Zubat and killed it. So that wouldn't necessarily trigger Dupe's Claws. Yeah. The question, I think Machop is also there. Very minor chance potentially at a Cubone. I'm not going to get a Kangaskhan unless I like use a Repel and get down to the lower level. Onyx is there too. Realistically, it's probably going to end up being a Zubat, knowing my luck. Safari Zone. I never thought about the Safari Zone. I'm just trying to see if I can even make it to the other side of Rock Tunnel without killing so many Pokemon in this Nuzlocke run. As soon as we get this Electrode, I'm back off to the daycare centre. I'm pulling out Butterfree, putting it back into the PC as insurance. Because as soon as I get to Lavender in that name rater, it can be nicknamed and it can get back on this team. That's kind of my insurance policy. Or if I wipe out in Rock Tunnel, then at least I know I have one lowly Butterfree to carry the run. The grinding I'm going to have to do on that thing is going to be insane. Assuming it has any attacking moves at all. Because the daycare, it wipes out moves as it levels up. So, yeah, in chronological order, it already no longer has confusion. You'd go for Slowpoke as your psychic type. If only I had a choice with this Nuzlocke. But then again, at the rate I'm going through Pokemon and with Dupe's Claws, you do get fairly good coverage. But there was no way I was ever going to get Mr. Mime. And as luck would have it, instead of an Adara, I got a Metapod. Look at the draw. Slowpokes and Leaf Green. Ah. Yeah, I'm running FireRed. FireRed was the one I originally had. I got Leaf Green later, but FireRed, then I had Red to begin with, so always more drawn to this one. I figured if between the two I was going to do a Nuzlocke, it would be on this. Well, so far so good. No accidental self-destructs. Let's see. What can Spark do? No, it's 65. It should in theory be stronger than Shockwave. There we go. How much longer do we have? 1,436. Okay. That's good. As soon as that gets to Electrode, I guarantee that's just gonna shoot up. Let's see. 16, not bad. I'll take it. Why do I think the first shiny I'm going to get is probably going to be a Rattata or something? Okay. Goodbye, population. There we go. Onwards. The grind is real. I think, if I'm remembering rightly, that you have to go to a second island to someone who is a panicking dad who's meant to give you, like, whatever you've got to take back to the first island. There's 3 islands to begin with. You go from the first island to the second island, talk to the dad who's panicking that his daughter's missing. You've got to go to the 3rd island, find the daughter in the forest, which is being kidnapped by a hypno, save her, then you go back to visit the father and daughter on the 2nd island. He gives you whatever the gem is that you need to take back to the 1st island to give to Bill so he can fix the PC system and get everything up and running. I think that's what it is. My Electrode helped in the Rocket Overrun City against my rival. Oh god. Yeah. Electrode has amazing speed. I'm hoping that will be my saving grace on more than one occasion. Not normally my first pick, but it could very well be one of the best choices for this. I don't have a Pokemon on the team that knows Cut. Yeah, I didn't. Hands up, I'm going to have to admit, I had to teach Cut to my Charmander because of Nuzlocke rules. It was a sacrifice that I had to make, and I feel terrible about it. Absolutely terrible. Thank you for, all thanks to the Misty Massacre. What I don't understand is how people can say, oh yeah, Nuzlocke, yeah, well what type of Nuzlocke are you doing? Are you doing it as a randomizer? Are you doing it as a hard mode? I'm just like, I've not even finished a regular Nuzlocke. It's either you don't know what a Nuzlocke is, or people are doing really, really difficult ones. And I'm just like, no. Third Island sells Ultra Balls. That's helpful. Yeah, I know there's a forest. In that forest, there's a child being kidnapped by a hypno. If you've spoken to her kind of very desperate father. I think he was on the second island. There's a bunch of bikers there, yeah. Then I think if you go back, like there's a tunnel. Am I remembering this right? There's a tunnel right at the beginning. And there's a guy digging for fossils. If you go back later, he gives you something, like an item, but I can't remember what it is. Almost there. Is this evolution going to happen with the next one? Is this it? Is this the evolution? Yes. Okay. We've done it. It's here. Yes. Woo! This is a thing of beauty. This upside down Pokeball is a thing of beauty. Look at that. Look at that speed. It's beautiful. 104 speed. This is what we need in this run. This could be the save. Okay. Time to take it back to the other patch of grass from whence we caught it at a lowly level 16. See what it's like battling there. See what it can do against its compatriots, against its comrades, its fellow Voltorb. And if we think it's okay with that, and with only being able to run kind of thunder type, what? Oh god. Electric moves, that's the word. Then we can probably try to get our encounter in Rock Tunnel. Yes, please do heal my Pokemon. And we are going to see if I can now get the item finder. Do I have enough Pokemon registered for that? Yes, you. Oh, Nuzlocke. I've been waiting for you. It's me, one of the ever-present aides of Professor Oak. If your Pokédex has complete data on 20 species, I'm supposed to give you a reward. An Everstone? An Everstone? Everstone? What happened to the item finder? Was that the one down with Vermilion? I think it was. Okay, doesn't matter. Do I have data on 20 Pokemon in this Nuzlocke run? Item finder is 30. Well, we're about to see. I have literally just 20. I don't have any need for an Everstone in this run. Unless I catch a Zubat. I evolve it into a Golbat. And then if it ever wants to evolve into Crobat and it's not the post-game, I suppose the Everstone could kind of hold that off. That's a thing. What am I like for Pokeballs, actually? 17 Pokeballs. Not the best. Surely by this point, wouldn't Vermilion be selling Great Balls? Okay. Plan of attack. I am going to test this Electrode against a Voltorb with just electric moves. Yeah. Yeah, it can't evolve into Crobat, but it still tries. And then it says, huh? Something went wrong. And then it stops every single time until you get to the post game, and then it does evolve into a Crobat. It's the same thing with Umbreon and Espeon. The Eevee, eventually, if you match those conditions, will say, huh, something went wrong. It stopped evolving. Like, what? And then you get to the post game, and as soon as you get the national dex from Professor Oak, he has to upgrade it. When you get that, I guess you've got to like have so many encounters or a certain level of the Pokedex. He gives you the national dex, and then they evolve. Okay, so that can take out a Voltorb in 2 moves. I'm happy with that. What was I going to do? Yes. It's now time to withdraw the Butterfree and put him back in a box. So I'll be able to access him from Lavender Town for the Name Raider. I can't believe I actually forgot to name the thing. Let's see. Poor Charmeleon. Having to be used for cut. Let's see. All that backwards and forwards. Grown by 2. What damage has that done? Nose Flash. Yeah. Stun Spore, Sleep Powder, Flash, Aerial Ace. I taught it Aerial Ace. I taught it Flash. Let's put it away. I can't actually use this until I nickname it. That's going away. There we go. I'm pretty certain most people only ever use Butterfree either because of that episode of the anime with the pink Butterfree, or because they used it originally to try to get past Brock. Nope, that's what I was going to do. I was going to go on the hunt for Great Balls. That was it. I'm going to try down here. If this doesn't sell it, I will try Vermilion. If not, I will have wasted my time. And we're just going to... Yeah, that just has Pokeballs. Okay. Another reason I use Dodrio, because it's fast. Yes, I think in a Nuzlocke, I'm going to have to be. All the more reason to try to level these things up without them fainting. Let's see if Vermilion City sells Great Balls. If it doesn't, I've wasted my time, and then we're just going to have to try and get whatever the encounter is at Rock Tunnel, just with Pokeballs. I'm not looking forward to that. You think it does? Good. I really hope it does. Let's see. That gives me confidence. Terrible bike controls. Nope. Pokeballs. They're not there. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Well, we're going to stock up on a ton of super potions. Just in case some repels. Yeah. And I'm also going to top up on some Pokeballs. They sold Great Balls in your game. Yeah. I remember in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee that as you went up the game, kind of all the Pokemon marts, like, improved what they sold. Apparently not so much for this one. Right, let's have a look. Time to go and get the rock tunnel encounter, and we'll see what the next team member is that I'm probably going to have to grind before going through this tunnel. Because otherwise, it'll probably just die against its comrades in there. Let's see. What is RNG going to grace us with today? I am so not used to this controller. Right, let's see. Oh yeah, there's this person that I need to battle as well. I'm going to get the encounter first. Cherry berry. Nice. Would have preferred a great ball though. Okay, you're moving. I refuse to have you out front. Gyarados looks like it can take more hits. Okay. I could probably get through this tunnel at this point without using that, but still. Okay. And survey says... Imagine if that was a great ball. Okay, Dupe's Claws. I'm calling Dupe's Claws. I have had a Mankey. I cannot have a second one. Not happening. Already done. We're moving on. Right. What timing was that? Okay. What is this item? Can it be a great ball? No, it's the opposite. It's a repel. Okay. Number 2. Geodude, I've had that too. I'm calling Dupe's Claws. This is ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. Come on. What is happening? Come on. We can do better than this. We can do better than this game. I know you can't. Come on. Give me something. Give me something. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew this would happen. I also didn't bring the Butterfree. I can't use it yet, so I can't paralyze it. So I'm just throwing regular Pokeballs at it, because if I dare use Cut or any attack of mine, it will just kill it. So I'm stuck just throwing Pokeballs and hoping to catch it at full health. Oh. Yeah. Electrode doesn't have static either. Oh, you want a Kingdra? Yeah. It's annoying that you can't kind of trade online. I know it's kind of authentic, but why am I getting the impression I'm going to run out of Pokeballs here? Come on, it's a level 15 Zubat. Yes, okay, we have the Rock Tunnel encounter. It has no eyes. Instead, it relies on its ultrasonic cries for echolocation to flit about in darkness. Nice. Yes, we are going to name the Zubat. It is a female Zubat, which I believe I'm going to nickname Zuzu. For no other reason than I like it. Zuzu. Zuzu the Zubat. Does it work if Zuzu becomes a Golbat? Zuzu? Maybe. Zuzu the Crobat. Yeah, I like it. That's cute. Zuzu. I had a friend called Zuzu. Oh, that's lovely. That's a lovely name. Unfortunately, this thing is going to require an awful lot of more training. Yeah. Well, if it ever becomes a Golbat, then I now at least have a use for that Everstone. And I'm going to say, if ever, training this thing is going to be a pain. A very big pain. Do I start by just trying to get through Rock Tunnel and doing a lot of switch training? Do I take it out of Rock Tunnel and start with switch training there? From whence I came? I think that would be the smart thing. See how it goes with this little battle down here. With switch training. Then we'll see what we can do. Yeah, I think we have a plan. We'll see what we're like with this. I would like to know if she says she has been out trying to battle against Pokemon gyms, but she's been failing every time, how she managed to get to this point realistically. Okay, well, I was going to take an Electrode. I cannot do that. Ah, okay. Gotcha. Okay. Basic Ember. We're not going to make physical contact. Okay. 175. Clefairy. Yes, we're going to swap back in. There we go. Okay, 175 is actually quite a chunk of XP. I wasn't expecting it to be so much. We can throw back in watts for this one. I don't know why watts needed to be in capital letters, but it felt like it did. It felt very important. Yes. Confirmation. Soundproof does block sing. Right. Good to know. That's just handy. 145. Yeah, okay. See, what chunk is that? That's pretty decent. You got the PC, good. Where to switch train? I think I might just stick in the entrance of Rock Tunnel and try to do all my switch training there for this. Or do I put it in the box with Butterfree, so if I ever get stuck, then I always have 2 backup Pokemon to go to, and then I can carry on with the game. That's also an option. I think I might do that. I think I'm going to box Zuzu for now, and then Zuzu can come out if there's ever a very, very, very big slaughter or something bad happens. I feel sorry for saying I'm boxing Zuzu. It makes me sound like I'm boxing your friend. I apologize for that. That's just funny coincidence. Okay. I think I'm going to leave it there for this session. There we go. I've done a lot. We've managed to get a Voltorb. I say I've done a lot. We got a Voltorb to evolve. We managed to get the first encounter in Rock Tunnel. We managed to get Butterfree back. Double, triple save. And that's it for me. I will be back on Monday. There we go. I will be back on Monday on YouTube for live productivity and writing sprints, where I'll be continuing to write a novel. Otherwise, I will probably be back next Friday on Twitch at 7 o'clock, which is my time, UK time, or I might do some pop-ins on some evenings over the weekend or next week if people find this nice. Yeah, stay tuned. Give me a follow if you want to be notified of when that is. I will probably just be doing this ad hoc. Otherwise, I will leave you to your games. Thank you for joining me in this little segment of my Nuzlocke. And I hope by the next time it will not say attempt 3. I will be trying to play offline. Otherwise, this stream series would be never ending. I will leave you there. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. Great. Well, until next time, I have been Adara, your friendly writing wind spirit, and I will see you again either at Adara Unwinds, Off the Clock, or over at Adara Writes on YouTube. VODs for all of these can also be found on YouTube at Adara Unwinds. Bye for now.